everybody's ready. This is a regular meeting of the Flagler Beach City Commission. It is Thursday, October 8th, 2020, and it is 5:33. And we will continue until all items are complete. I'll ask the mayor to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence to honor our veterans, members of the armed forces, and our first responders. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Hi, Mayor, you have a proclamation for us?
If you guys want to come up to the podium, and I'll read it and then present it to you. So 2020 Breast Cancer Awareness Raise the Pink Flag Proclamation. Whereas October is National Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and whereas the Advent Health Palm Coast Foundation is once again bringing awareness to breast cancer throughout the month of October, and whereas breast cancer is the most frequently diagnosed cancer in women, with an estimate of 276,000 new cases of invasive cancer are expected in women this year, and 2,620 new cases of invasive breast cancer are expected to be diagnosed in men, ranking it second among all cancer deaths and accounting for nearly 1 in 8 cancer diagnosed in U.S. women. And whereas only 1 in 8 women diagnosed with breast cancer have a family history and 85% have no family history, with an increase in incidence rates since 1990 being predominantly in women 50 years or older. And whereas early detection with timely screening mammograms has helped to boost the breast cancer survivor rate to more than 2.6 million in the United States, also resulting in a 40% decline in mortality since 1989. Whereas Advent Health's Palm Coast Pink on Parade 5K, with the support of our community, has distributed over $150,000, helped over 577 patients, and performed hundreds of procedures in direct support to Flagler County men and women dealing with breast cancer. And whereas the City of Flagler Beach and Advent Health Palm Coast will raise the pink flag on this October 2020 in Veterans Memorial Park. Now, therefore, I, Linda Provencher, Mayor of the City of Flagler Beach, do hereby proclaim the City of Flagler Beach raise the pink flag to encourage its residents to intensify their awareness of breast cancer and the importance of screening mammograms. In witness whereof, I have set my hand this 8th day of October 2020. And we actually raised the pink flag last week. Normally we do it first Friday, but...
Everything's strange this year. Mayor, Commissioners, thank you once again for allowing us, the hospital to come.
Is your mic on?
No, sorry.
Push. Thank you. Guys, I'm John Subers with the Advent Health Palm Coast Foundation, and thank you so much again for allowing us to come in front of you and in Veterans Park to raise the pink flag and showcase the importance of screening, mammogram screening. And as the proclamation said, screening means the world to early detection and cure. So getting that education out through our Pink Army and our Pink On Parade is what we do. We raise funds through our 5K, which is this year the Pink On Parade. Everything changes for all good reasons. We are going virtual this year, where we've always had thousands of people right there in front of the hospital and running around and coming over and have breakfast at the beach in prior years. But this year is a little bit different, but we're still raising funds and awareness that the money stays here in Flagler County, taking care of our men, and mostly women, but a few men over the years that deal with breast cancer, the diagnostic test around there. So can't thank you enough for allowing us in the exposure in Veterans Park, and this commission is just so supportive of us, and I just can't thank you enough. So thank you. Thank you. Would love to take a picture one more picture with you guys. Even Al got a pink shirt on, so you got the memo today. So can I come up and take a picture? Wonderful.
Hold that side, and we'll hold this side.
Okay.
You've done this before.
Everybody knows the lane.
I'm John's foot soldier.
Everybody make sure you smile.
I'm laughing at myself because I'm smiling.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, thank you.
See you next month, John.
Yeah, next month it's blue, right? Thank you, John and Elaine, for all you do. All right, next item on the agenda is deletions and changes to the agenda. Does anybody have one? You have one?
We're pulling item 11. That was after your meeting with them.
Yeah, good. I was going to pull it. Okay, so we are pulling number 11?
That's my understanding. Correct, Rick? Number 11.
I don't get to give my speech?
You will.
Okay. All right. So that's the only change that we have, I guess. Yes? All right, Mr. Hadid. Catch us up.
Oh, thank you, Penny.
Good morning.
Hello, everybody. Al Hadid, representing Flagler County. Thank you very much. I think I sent to you the resolution that was adopted by the Board of County Commissioners, and I had mentioned that to you in the last time I met with you, that we memorialized these assurances that we have provided owners because we have been providing them over the course of the whole time that we've been on the project. But some people were questioning, well, what, you're saying this, but where is it in my easement document, et cetera? So this was a way to not just address them all, but to address them uniformly and to make sure everybody knew that they're being treated equally. These assurances apply across the board. These assurances, although not necessarily in the exact words, they're going to be part of the non-federal project, the
Okay.
areas,
Just getting ready to ask you
yes, that are, our next phase. The only other update I have is, we have the eminent domain underway with the property a single property in the South 2400 and a single property in the South 2500 blocks that are owned by the same person. And we have attempted a lot of outreach, although we're proceeding, there's steps that we have to go through for the eminent domain. We obviously prefer not to do it. It's an expense and it's a delay. And we are hoping that we're able to do something with that owner. So far, we have not made the kind of progress that we have hoped for. Here's the consequence. Those two parcels are holding up going out to bidding. I think I've explained it before, but so people understand, the bidding, putting it out to bidding and awarding the contract based on, the lowest best bid, captures the money so that it can't be pulled by another community. Not that they would attempt to do that to target us, but if there's another disaster and they're looking around for funds, our funds are not secured until that is secured from a congressional change unless they're under contract. All of those of you in business know that once something goes under contract, certain rights vest. That's very true in this situation. So it's very important. And we're doing the best we can in terms of that individual. We just may have to go through the process to get to a litigated conclusion if all the efforts fail. We did provide the assurances to that individual by a separate communication saying to her, we know you have questions and concerns. Take a look at this. Let us know if you have any questions. We've adopted these assurances, and these will be applicable to your properties. So anyway, that's my report. So good news on the side of having a codification of the assurances we provided all owners, so they're all on a level playing field. And then the bad news is we're not making the kind of progress that I'd hope we would make once the owner realized that they were in danger of, I mean, we have the choice of taking their property, not their west side, not the property on the west side of A1A, but their property on the east side of A1A. So we would think that might help get to a conclusion, but we'll see. Hopefully I'll have better news for you next time. Final thing is probably our commission meeting next. We will be addressing the holdouts in the South 2700 block. We're going to, go ahead and square that up and figure out what we need to do. Because as I think I've told you a number of times, we do not want to leave that area out. We've made progress. We've made good progress, and hopefully we'll have, the next time I meet with you, I'll have a very good report on the South 27 and hopefully the South 24th and the South 2500 block remnants, the isolated remnants. Unless there's any questions?
One,
Yes, sir.
if this has to play out through the courts, what kind of time are we talking about, potentially?
That's really hard to say. It's not going to be something that exceeds 90 days, all right?
Okay.
We're going to try to move it as quickly as we can. We hope that, the courts are backed up. I mean, everybody knows that. But we hope that there's been enough public information. We're certainly going to make the plea to the judge what the consequence is. And just to make that, actually, I'm kind of glad you asked that question because I don't know if I've emphasized this enough to people. The federal project is the linchpin for everything we're going to do on the beach, the whole 18 miles. It's only through the Army Corps that we got the offshore sand site. If somehow this project can't be done, we lose that offshore sand site, we're not going to be able to do the non-federal project, the rest of the Flagler Beach. We're not going to be able to use that sand source for the other 12 miles or so of the Flagler County coastline. This is a linchpin project. I'm sure you all know that. Sorry for the emphasis, but I get passionate
No,
about
it's
these
good
things.
for people to hear it.
I get passionate about these things. So this is going to get done. This is going to get done. Thank you, though, for the
Thank you.
question.
Question.
Any other?
Al, one question.
Yes, sir.
Since eminent domain is pretty much a legal procedure, it's not a question of winning or losing the argument or anything like that. If the county was to move forward with that, it would happen. Can you not move forward with the bidding process on the assumption that, the legal part is going to handle itself? It's not really a question mark. It's just a matter of timing.
That's an excellent question. The the procedure that we are using irrevocably commits us to paying whatever price is determined by the judge. It's an irrevocable choice. So we will get the property by initiating these proceedings. There's no question about that. That won't be blocked, okay? However, we're not the ones that make the choice about the bidding. It's the Army Corps that lets it out to bid. And they've told us, we're not going to bid it until you get those two remnants in the project area. And with that, they'll accelerate completing their construction plans and putting them out to bid. I can't control that end of it.
Thank you.
Anybody else have anything? All right, Al, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We appreciate you coming out here
Yeah,
every time you show up.
and it's important for the public to hear the updates. All right, next item on the agenda is Anyone in the public who wishes to address us about anything that's not on the agenda? If you'd like to come up and speak to us about anything not on the agenda, please come up. You have 3 minutes and give your name and address. Guess not.
Works for me.
Okay, so we move on to the consent agenda. The consent agenda is the minutes of the special meetings of September 16th, 29th, and 30th, and the regular meetings of September 10th and 24th. Anybody have anything
Just-
they want to pull in?
Just one on September 16th minutes.
Okay. So we'll pull that one.
September 16th.
Anybody else?
I mean, it's petty, but it's there.
You're allowed. Okay, anybody in the public wish to address any of the minutes besides the September 16th? Seeing none, I'll close public comment, look for a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the consent agenda minus the September 16th minutes.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Seeing none, it passes. Okay, Rick?
It's just that you got demoted.
I did?
Yeah, the first line, the very first line.
Oh, yeah.
She missed,
Capitalize your name.
she missed the caps, that's all.
Okay.
Like I said,
It was pretty petty.
I said it's petty, but it's still there.
Okay. Okay, anything else?
That's an easy fix.
Anybody in the public wish to address the minutes of September 16th? Seeing none, no closed public comment, look for a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes of September 16th as amended.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, moving on to general business. We have an interlocal agreement with the public school facilities plan. And Chief, I think this is your item.
Good evening, Chair, Mayor, Commissioners. During my brief time as the acting city manager, I received some correspondence from Flagler County Schools with regards to an amendment to the interlocal agreement for facility planning. And basically, Drew has reviewed it, and what it does is because now that we have enough children from our city that go to public schools, we actually get a chair at the table. So we've moved from the kiddie table up, and Ms. Patty Bott from the school board's here, in case you have any questions about the interlocal agreement. Like I said, our city attorney has reviewed the interlocal, and I don't think there should be a whole lot of questions, but if there is.
I just
Patty's
have
here.
some procedural questions.
Okay. Do you want to talk to Patty or to Drew?
Whoever can answer my questions. Welcome.
Well, thank you.
Anybody have any questions? I usually go last.
No? Well, I guess a seat at the table is, what does that mean exactly? That we have a seat at the table?
Well, originally, when the interlocal, is it okay if I take this off?
Sure.
Interlocal agreement was put in force in 2008. You did not have enough students nor enough development, so you were able to exclude yourself based upon Florida Statute 163. Basically, if you meet criteria, meaning that you have fewer than 50 residential units developed during the last 5 years, or generate fewer than 25 additional public school students during the preceding 5 years, you can exclude yourself from the interlocal, which Flagler Beach did at that time.
Okay.
Since 2016, you've met both of that criteria. So it is time to no longer exclude you from that agreement. And what that means is that you will have applications that developers will need to complete for school concurrency prior to final platting, so that we can analyze that and use that in our school planning. We also have a working group that you will have a seat at that will work with the other cities towards growth.
Okay, That's
Anybody
easy
else?
for me.
Ken?
Yes, how is that individual selected, or do we select that individual for that membership?
Yes, you will select the person for the working group, and then
Okay.
you will also have that person come back to you with anything that happens there, basically, like this.
So is that a board member or someone from the public, or either? Or-
It's actually, typically, it's an employee.
Okay,
Often a
Of the city,
planner. I
so-
think if yours is like Orange County's, it's usually somebody from the planning department that goes to those.
Typically, yes.
okay, all right, thanks.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Okay, yeah, anybody else before? In this agreement, and I don't know which of you to address this to, we have to add a new element to our comp plan? Drew?
We don't have a public schools element in our contract.
Right,
Nor is it required, so that actually may be something that the work group wants to address, whether or not, because the school concurrency element in comprehensive planning is no longer required by statute. So if it stays in there, we could adopt one. I don't know that we have to adopt one. So that's on the school concurrency element in the comprehensive plan.
Yeah, and that would be a good question for our school board attorney and you to discuss.
because on page 10 through 11, there's section 8 of the agreement, says public school facilities element, development, and update, and it talks to having a public school facilities element in the comp plan, and in section C says that once that's done, we have to do something with our LDRs, which we're currently in the process of changing anyway. So you don't think we have to do that, or?
I don't think we do. I'll double check and then we can circle through, but if it's still a part of chapter 163, then it would be required. And the language in here that I actually think helps in this is it's pursuant to 163, and that's where the statute, and I can't remember when it changed, to pull out the requirement for school concurrency elements in local comprehensive plans.
Oh, so you think this language is old?
It's moot. No, I know it's old. This predated the change in statute. I mean, this was done when the school concurrency part was first adopted, and then the school boards worked with their local governments to come up with these agreements. And so definitely predates that by many years, several years. And I don't think 163 requires it anymore. So if 163 doesn't require it because of that language in A, I think that language in A would make it moot.
Okay.
But
Thank-
if.
We'll check on that.
The point of that school concurrency element, when these were being done, was to make sure everybody was on the same page. The same reason why the ILAs were done in the first place, so that everybody was working together on the school issue, because what each governmental entity is doing is impacting those schools. And that kept it consistent throughout the school board's area, that everybody is addressing it in the same way, rather than the school board having to work with each jurisdiction in a different way, developing on one side of a city line, different than another side of a city line. That was unworkable.
Okay, but you'll check on that. Then on page 13, number 9, it says adverse impacts on archaeological or historic sites. Does that include gopher tortoises, or is it's not a nature thing, it's just a?
I don't believe it is. I believe it's more of like when we do grants and they do an archaeological study, if there's like shell piles, shell fragments, things like that.
Sorry.
But sub 8, just 2 paragraphs above that, might bring in the gopher tortoise
Environmental
issue.
constraints, yeah. So if you could research that too, please.
What exactly are you asking? What is the question?
Well, I guess if somebody were to build a school, if we had a piece of property that
I mean,
would fit a school.
this
we
list
don't
is
know.
simply telling us what the school board is going to consider when they're citing.
Excuse me. So the school board doesn't have to look for tortoises?
Well, they would have the same development constraints as any other developer would.
Oh,
So if private developer is required to have a gopher tortoise survey, school board would have to, which is why I say 8 may come into play, because when the school board is considering a site, and I don't mean to speak for you,
Oh, you're doing great.
if the school board is considering a site, and it has to, and they're gonna have to spend gopher tortoise, money to relocate gopher tortoises, if they have two sites, everything else being equal, except for this one costs more because of gopher tortoises, this says that they might just pick that other site because of the gopher tortoises,
Okay,
and the cost involved therein.
okay.
And we have restrictions that normal developments don't either, like it can't, have any floodplain on the land and things like that. So there's additional restrictions we go by when that time comes.
Right.
And I think that's it. Okay, thank you.
I have one more question.
Yes.
Yes.
How many students are we talking about?
Currently,
Just, I mean, I know we're talking about numbers, I'm just.
oh, that's okay. 2016, you had 33, oh, no, I'm sorry, those are developments. Students, I know you're over that because
Hope so. Yeah.
I pulled that from the old Kings, and I can't tell you
That's
specifically
okay,
how
I'm just
many.
looking for a rough number.
Let me see if I have that.
Any other questions? Anybody in the public have any questions? Seeing none, I'll close public comment and look for a motion to approve, I think. Is that what we're doing? Approving the amendment, second amendment to the interlocal agreement.
Did you want to answer his question?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry, but
That's okay. Real quick, you had 186 residential permits in the last 5 years, and based upon the generation rate that we use, that would have generated approximately 46 students.
Okay, thanks a lot.
So I will make a motion to approve the Second Amendment to the interlocal agreement for public school facility planning.
I'll second.
do we need a roll call? Yeah.
Commissioner Bryan?
Yes.
Commissioner Belheimer?
Yes.
Commissioner Cooley?
Yes to the motion.
Commissioner Phillips?
Yes.
Chair Mealy?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Now we graduate to the big people's table. All right, number 9 is to consider appointments to the Economic Development Task Force. We have 4 candidates.
I did speak on the phone to Mr. Pizzoli, and he said he had a previous engagement, so he's not able to attend. And I believe the rest are here.
All right, Paul, you want to come tell us about you?
Paul Harrington, 1769 North Central Avenue. I've been here full-time 10 years, came here first 17 years ago. I've been in business most all of the 50-plus years of my last 50-plus years of my life. Been through the ups and downs and successful all the way, and I know how to make business tick and how to bring business in, keep things going.
Okay, thank you. John? I thought that was you, but I wasn't sure. With the mask, it's hard to tell.
Yes, John Haran, 209 South 4th Street, and I just would say that it's been a pleasure to serve the city on being on the Economic Development Task Force as vice chairman, and I've really enjoyed it. It would be my pleasure to serve again, for sure. And I've got a fairly extensive business background, owner of multiple different businesses over the years, from the seafood industry through car rental business, and then also I've got a substantial level of experience in real estate development, commercial real estate, and single family. And I just would say that it's a pleasure to serve, and I'd love to continue to do so. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Darrell?
Yes, I'm at 322 North 11th Street. I've been there for the last 15 years, raised all 3 of my children here. 2 of them have been lifeguards. I've got a third that'll be a lifeguard next year. Own multiple properties here, bought and sold. And background is political science and urban planning. I've been in the recycling business for the last 30 years. And just like to see the way Flagler County continues to grow, and it's, I was on the board, I was on the Economic Development Task Force for last year, which has been challenging with COVID, obviously, so we've, I think, half the meetings maybe have occurred, so just want to continue to be involved.
Okay, thank you. Does anybody have any questions to ask any of them?
I do.
Okay.
John, can I ask you a question? Because you've been on the board, can you talk a little bit about some of the things you've done over the years that have been successful?
Well, I think that really working with the city and really talking with the board primarily about parking, that was a really big thing that we had a lot of communication on, and how we, amongst us, really talked about that parking pool, which really to help spur some growth, some development growth. I thought that was an important thing. And here recently, we've been working on, working with the county to increase the Betty Steflik Park, Boardwalk Park, to work with the county and the environmental planner to go ahead and try to, we got the commission's approval a while ago, and to expand that. That was a project that I spearheaded and have been working with Tim Teffler at the county, but again, that was held up, but he said that he would move forward with grants. I love that Joe Pizzoli started up the Flagler Arts Group, and how we started moving that forward. I felt that was a wonderful thing to be involved in as well. So just a few things. You're welcome.
Is that it, Debbie?
No, I was wondering if the other two gentlemen, because they're not on the board currently, can kind of talk a little bit
No,
about.
Darrell is.
Oh, I'm sorry, Daryl. Daryl, can I ask you the same question I asked John? I apologize.
Same question you asked John, is it?
Yes, what have you done over the last?
Really, the arts project has been something that has been the biggest topic. We've talked about signage here in town. Obviously the A1A, that's been a big, concern with it being torn up over the last several years for the businesses. So those have been the three major topics that we've discussed over the last, like I said, it's been a year since I've been involved.
Okay, thank you. And then, Paul, can you kind of talk about what you can bring to the table? We know that I feel you're qualified, but what are some of the things that you envision doing on the board?
Well, I've been to a lot of the board meetings and talked many times with John and Joe about the parking issues that we face here and we've been working on for a long time. And those are critical factors to building and keeping the economic driver here in Flagler Beach. We have one business leaving and one business coming. That kind of seems to be a trend here, and I think we need to get on the other side of that. We need to be in the business retention, trying to keep these guys here and keeping them in business. There's a lot that I think we could do from the entrance coming in that would enhance people coming here and with the parking, being able to get around.
Is that it? Good. Eric, anything? Anybody?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I just wanted to mention as well that also there was a change at the Flagler County Department of Economic Development, and the person that used to represent them on the committee wasn't employed there anymore, and they have filled that position finally. The lady's name is Dolores Key, and Janelle spoke with Amy and confirmed that she is employed there, and she will be the rep to the committee from that department, if you so choose to keep that.
Great. Thank you, Penny.
Okay, I'm taking a little different approach here, because when I first started looking at this, I attended a couple of Economic Development Committee meetings prior to becoming a commissioner. And my mission is a little different from what I see happening here. And I put together some things because this is what I'm looking at as far as Economic Development Committee's goals and objectives. And like I said, I tried to find a mission statement, and I talked to Penny about it, and there really isn't one that exists. And I'm not trying to bust anybody's chops, but I'm just trying to look at some meaningful things as far as what I think the Economic Development Committee should be working on. And just bear with me for a minute here. I put this together earlier this week. Economic Development Committee. Public-sponsored economic development efforts have traditionally been identified with urban renewal programs. Increasingly, that association is changing, and some local governments and townships are developing proactive approaches to maintaining a balanced and vibrant commercial, artisan, cultural, historical, and industrial type sector. The EDC, whose members are appointed by the Flagler Beach Commissioner, should essentially be charged with promoting opportunities to do business in the city, assisting with the development of reasonable business policies, and researching and monitoring Flagler Beach City's economy. The aim of the EDC is to promote sound economic development by acting as a liaison between the existing business and township departments, encouraging business to locate, grow, and to be sustainable, proactively identifying any problems relating to industry. Of course, we talked about in this industry here, most of it is in the restaurant, cultural, arts, that's the type of thing there, and recommending pro-business policies, programs, and projects to the commission. The mission that I came up with, and this is just some ideas, acting as a liaison agent between existing business, industry, and the departments of the city and the city commission, helping in the development of programs for revitalizing existing business properties and encouraging desirable businesses and industries to locate in our city. And I don't want you to start thinking about big box companies or anything like this industry. I'm just looking at industry in general as we relate to Flagler Beach area. Studying problems relating to industry and other commercial enterprises, formulating policies, programs, and projects with respect thereto for recommendations to the commission. Maintaining business directory websites for all Flagler businesses. It's kind of pie in the sky, but I'm just reaching here. Conducting community surveys and producing a brochure for prospective businesses. Planning and sponsoring an awards night each year to honor and recognize exceptional efforts by businesses in the city. And here again, I said, these are the kinds of things that I think that, in my opinion, would help with revitalizing and also encouraging some of the businesses that we have and also helping them to be sustainable. Those are the kinds of things I'd like to see this committee involved with doing, because from what I can see, they're excited to some degree, but I think they need a little bit more teeth in what they're actually doing. But that's just my opinion. I'm just one commissioner.
You've made some interesting points, but I don't think today is the day to be talking about them. We're just.
Well, I understand that, Commissioner, but.
Let me finish.
Yeah.
I would suggest that maybe we have a workshop with the task force and hash some of that out.
I'd be happy to participate. The only reason I brought these out, because these are individuals that are applying for the committee positions themselves. So, that being the case, I just want them to understand that this is the kind of task that I'd like to have them take on. Some might say, this is too much. This is too much, and I don't want any part of it. I'm ready to go. So that's the only reason I bring it up. But I appreciate it. So I'd be happy to work with you. And
Well, I think we should all be involved, so I think having, because we've been through some of that already in the past, and bad times and whatever have gotten in the way. But I think it would be great to, just a minute, Darrell, if we were to hold a workshop with the commission and the whole task force.
That's why I bring them up. I mean, I wake up in the middle of the night with ideas. And that's troubling sometimes.
Would somebody get him a sleeping pill?
And unfortunately, I go down to my desk and I start putting them to paper.
No, that's great. That's great to, I think it'd be important.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, I guess that it's all right for Darrell to speak. It's not public comment, I guess.
I'd just like to make a comment. A lot of what you have addressed is are things that we have. Website is something that we've come up with. Signage, obviously, and trying to, promote the businesses here, especially with, like I said, what's going on with A1A. So a lot of what you've said has been brought up. I just think we've had challenges in getting it to go forward. And, no excuses. I mean, coronavirus has been very challenging. A1A has been very challenging. But a lot of what you've said, like I said, those are things that come up at these meetings all the time. I mean, it's something that I think all of us are passionate about, to get more business to come into Flagler. I think we all like the small town atmosphere. So yes, we do not want a big box store. We don't want McDonald's. We don't want some of the things that, but we want to be able to, I mean, you want your children to come back here, you know? And we're an older population here. I mean, I was one of the young guys when I first moved here, you know, so, you know, and obviously not anymore. So.
Like I said, Madam Chair, I just want to let you know that you have one commissioner support here, and I'm sure you have the others, but I think it's important that we bring it up and let you know that you have our support, and if you're willing to step out there and be a little bit more assertive to us, you know, don't feel like we're going to cut your head off.
Yeah, we're good. That's wonderful.
Okay, so when Penny's done playing doctor. John, you want to say something?
Is that I really like the idea about a mission statement and then really trying to have a little bit more teeth in on what we're doing. But I will tell you that I think that there has been a lot of passion, a lot of dialogue, and I agree with Daryl, is that we had some interruptions for sure. But I love the idea about a workshop. I think that everybody coming together and having a workshop, I think, would really assist us and give us a little bit more momentum.
It's been a long time. We have done that in the past, but it's been a long time.
It'd be wonderful.
Different members of the committee and different commissioners, and so it's time. So thank you for bringing that up. All right, any other comments? Okay, I don't think I opened this to the public. Anybody in the public have anything they want to say about the Economic Development Task Force members? Okay, seeing none, if you'll vote and we'll pass them down, and Penny, you'll get it back to us. And Penny, we're going to need for you to get with, is Joseph still at chair?
Joseph is, well, his term, when his term is until.
Well, yeah. Yeah, if Joseph gets reappointed, okay. Maybe we'll set up a date for a workshop. We said we would
I'll
have,
have, that's, I hear your intent, and what I'll have Janelle do is work on, getting some dates that you guys can.
okay,
The community can meet and a date the room is free.
okay, thank you. I almost voted for you. Is that everybody's?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Penny will get that back to us. So in the meantime, we move on to the outdoor entertainment permit for the beachfront grill. Jamie just walked in.
He did, and the PAR board heard this item on Tuesday night, and they voted unanimously to approve the request.
Jamie, you want to come up and tell us anything?
Sorry, I'm a little late, but,
No, perfect timing.
no, I wish I did everything like that, that would be great. Since we've opened the restaurant, we've always gone to the city for special events of license for whenever we did something special.
You can take it off,
Oh,
Jim.
thank you. And so we decided that it was probably in our best interest, instead of doing the special events thing, to just do the outdoor entertainment license. Nothing's going to change. All the speakers that we have are all facing the ocean like they're supposed to be. And we have the patio out there now, and really not much more to it than that. It's pretty straightforward. Never, you know, whenever I came up against an issue or something, the clerk's office has always told me how to do it the right way, and I think we've always done it the right way, so. But,
Bossy.
Yeah, they're very bossy, but no, it's been great. So we're just gonna go for the full license now and do it. This way we don't have to come up every week and say, hey, we're having a singer out there today and stuff like that, which we're bound by that rule now, so. That's all, nothing more to it.
Okay, thank you, Jamie.
Thank you.
Anybody
Appreciate it.
have any questions?
Give that back to Ken.
Jamie, do you have a copy
You gotta
or
do
have you
1
read the
through-
new
1 through
noise
4.
ordinance?
Are you talking there? I have no.
I got it, yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry?
Do you have a copy or have you read and are familiar with the new noise ordinance?
Yeah, we have two things you should know. And I didn't even know until the other day on the phone that we could do it past 10 o'clock, which I've never done. But I understand there's different levels of time and stuff like that, it's got to drop down. I could tell you, honestly, Eric, I don't think it'll ever, it's never gone past 9. So there would have to be a really odd instance to go over that time period. But for the most part, most of my entertainment ends between 8P and 9P every day when I do have it. So I can appreciate why you want it. I have a great relationship with my neighbors. And most of them sit out on their porch and listen to my music anyway, so. But I am aware of it, and I have been updated, and Penny forwarded it to me when I put in the application.
He does, and we did receive one email from one of the neighbors in there. And then we also, at the par board meeting, there was a couple that came up, thought it was a public meeting. It was a Zoom, the last Zoom meeting, but they had positive comments and just were there to support Jamie's application.
Okay. Debbie, did you have something?
Nope.
No. Anybody else?
I cruised down there yesterday, and I've been down there before visiting,
I know, yeah.
visiting with it. But I just wanted to get a better idea of where it was. I didn't come in or anything, but I did see where it was located and that kind of thing there. So I think it's going to be a great addition to your business, and keep growing.
Thank you. I appreciate you going down and looking. A lot of people don't, a lot of places wouldn't do that. That's great that you looked into it. Because, listen, I'm not infallible, and the people who do their due diligence is much more respect for people who do that. I appreciate you doing that.
And I can say that there's been several places there throughout the years. And several. Yes. And Jamie has, done a wonderful job down there. He does a lot for the community, and his neighbors are supportive of that, which is huge, because if you're a good neighbor as a business, then, so,
And he gave a lot of food away during the COVID, too.
To everybody who earned it, though.
Yeah.
No, he does good. And like I said, that neighborhood around there, in the past, there have been people that had problems with whatever business was in there, and I've never had any complaints about Jamie's business, so.
Haven't had any picketers, right, Mayor?
Yeah,
No.
exactly. Let's hope you don't.
Thank you.
I had one other comment.
Okay.
One of the nice things, and Jamie, I want to commend you on it, is when you do the larger events, you use Heather's trailer, and that's actually very nice for the neighborhood, because the way that boxes in the sound and directs it out to the ocean, and versus an open stage, it's a great idea, and it just makes your events very well done.
Honest to God, Eric, I've never been told by the city no, without there being another way to do it the correct way. And that's the way everybody should work. The city, the businesses, everybody should work like that. And I've never had an issue at all. I appreciate you saying that, though.
Well, you've been a welcome addition to the city.
Absolutely.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Anybody in the public wish to address this issue? Seeing none, close public comment, look for a motion.
I will make a motion to approve the outdoor entertainment permit for Beachfront Grill.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And
I'm sorry,
Jamie.
who was the second?
Eric.
Jamie, I'd like to thank you too for all you do for the community. Your name's out there all the time.
Congratulations, Jamie.
All right, number 11 has been pulled.
I do have the results if you're ready.
Oh, sure.
Your appointees are John Haran, Joseph Pizzuli, and Daryl Reynolds.
Thank you, Penny.
You're welcome.
Congratulations, guys. And we move on to number 12, which is Resolution 2020-32.
Resolution 2020-32, a resolution by the City Commission of the City of Flagler Beach, Florida, declaring certain property to be surplus, providing for conflict and an effective date.
Any comments, questions?
Okay, I have a question. Rick, I don't know if you know or not, Rick, is this a different Polaris than what I was thinking about earlier? Did the fire department have a different one than the Ocean Rescue was using?
it's my understanding there were two, and, because we surplused one last year, towards the end of last year, and this is another one, and they're telling me that it's not operable, it's not safe to work on, it's pretty rusted up, so.
I think this is the one that I saw when I went over there and took a tour at the fire department. If it was the one that was sitting in the back.
One with the little boards on the
Yeah,
back.
right.
The last time I saw it, it was in Rob Smith's garage, and he was tinkering with it and saying that sanitation may be using it. But if that's the one, then I just want to make sure there wasn't a second one. Okay, if it's not worthy of being used, it's time to.
Get rid of it.
Is this the sanitation unit? Is that the one we're talking about right now?
No, it's fire
This is different.
department.
Fire, it says fire.
But is this the one that sanitation was using?
I have no idea about what sanitation was using. I just know in our, my brain just stopped. In our inventory, this particular piece of equipment is listed under the fire department.
Right, yeah, as the pickup bed on. I just want to, the last I heard sanitation was using it. I just want to make sure we're not getting our signals crossed.
I don't believe so.
Okay.
There may be another one they're using, but this one I don't believe so.
I don't know, the last time I saw Rob, he was kind of excited about being able to use it, so
Right.
I'd
I
hate
wanna
to see it
check
be
that.
pulled out from under him.
Can you call Rob? And can we put this item on? And you call Rob
Yes.
now? Thank you.
Okay,
Um,
we'll come back to that.
Come back to number 12. Number 13 is selecting an audit select, not the committee, we already did that. The audit selection committee ranked our new auditor, and we did pick one. We had 5 applicants. We narrowed it down to 3 to interview, and we interviewed the 3. And we finally came up with one that we selected, and we selected James Moore and Company as our new auditor. Anybody have any questions?
Those that weren't on the,
Yeah, 3 of us were on the committee, so. Anybody in the
so
public?
it's my understanding these are the same auditors that do Palm Coast and Benel? Was it both of them or just Palm Coast? Well, anyway.
I'm not sure. They used to be
They're
auditors for the city
Yeah.
Years
before.
ago, yeah.
Before we.
The auditors are actually here in the
Yeah, I know, I
audience,
see 'em.
so if they wanted to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the suits
All
are here.
right, that'll give us an answer, won't it?
I'll only wear a suit to this
James,
meeting, and then
Familiar
I'll,
with them.
and, but yeah, we do Bunnell, Palm Coast, we do audits all over the state. We have offices in Tallahassee and Gainesville as well, but we do a number of cities down in Volusia County. That's where our office is at. We have offices in DeLand, Daytona Beach, Gainesville, and Tallahassee. So, but pretty much everywhere up and down the coast, St. Augustine Beach, over inland, Willaca, Interlochen. So big, small, medium, large, whatever it is.
Yes.
But
They
Thank you.
used to, they also have a IT division. They used to do our IT services as well.
correct, yeah.
There were a lot of services that they provide that we all apparently liked. So I just wanted to share with those that weren't on the committee that they get around. So, and welcome back if
Yeah.
it goes that
And it
way.
was a
Thank
very
you.
professional presentation that you did,
It was
both the
25 years ago, I started in public accounting. It was the first city audit I worked on, back when you had a drawbridge. That's how long ago that was.
It's been a few days.
It's changed a bit.
I had more hair, wasn't as gray, 30 pounds lighter.
Now, I wanted to say that both your oral and paper presentations were extremely professional, and
Thank you, we appreciate
you
it.
know, learned a lot about your company.
I have Webb Shepherd with me here tonight. His mom lives up here, and so he likes to come up here and surf when the waves are better here than down in New Smyrna, so, you know.
Okay.
Just no sharks. Not as many, anyway.
No shark bites? Okay, so we need to adopt.
That's not it.
Oh, no, we need to, what do we need to do?
You need to motion to select the auditors.
It says direction to staff to prepare a contract.
Well, a motion to staff to
Yeah,
accept the auditors and direct them to,
okay,
the contract will come back to you
okay,
again.
okay. Anybody?
Well, I'll make a motion that
Oh,
we,
I didn't open it to the public.
well, I can still make the motion, right?
Sure.
For now?
Usually I open it to the public first thing.
Okay.
Anybody in the public wish to address our selection of James Moore as our new auditor? Seeing none, I'll close public comment, and now you can make your motion.
I'll make a motion that we select James Moore as our next, as our auditor for our next audit. And there, what else do I?
And direct staff to prepare a contract.
Direct staff to prepare a contract for consideration at our next regular meeting.
Second?
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? Okay, so we'll be seeing you when we discuss your contract. Thank you. Did Rick tell you anything? He disappeared?
He did, he's talking to Matt, because I guess there's one behind the PD that's the one.
Oh, it's a different, it's probably a different one.
All right, go on to number 14.
Resolution 2020-33, a resolution by the City Commission of the City of Flagler Beach, Florida, declaring the intent to vacate an unimproved portion of street known as South 17th Street, located between Block 14 and Block 15 of Fuquay Subdivision, Map Book 1, page 26 of the Public Records of Flagler County, Florida, providing for a public hearing, providing for conflict and an effective date.
Okay, we've already talked about this, but this is the next step in
This-
the process.
This is the next step. I was so just looking forward, I forgot there was a resolution, and in addition to the ordinance. So it's the resolution first, then I send certified copies of this to the property owners surrounding it, and then it comes back in an
For
ordinance.
the
So they're
ordinance.
notified of the hearing date.
Okay, any questions? Seeing none, anybody in the public wish to address this? Seeing none, close public comment and look for a motion.
Make a motion that we approve Resolution 2020-33.
Second.
That was Eric.
Yes.
Commissioner Belhumer,
Yes.
Commissioner Cooley,
Yes, the motion.
Commissioner Phillips.
Yes.
Commissioner Bryan,
Yes.
Chair Mealy.
So the next step is the ordinance.
First reading of the ordinance.
Okay. And we're still waiting, so let's move on to commission comments. Mayor, do you have anything?
Yeah, we had our beach cleanup last Saturday, and the students are back, so that's a wonderful thing. Imagine your OTC and 4-H, so we had a good turnout again. Tuesday, I think it was Tuesday, I was invited to Palm Coast. They did the ribbon cutting for Mednex. The mayor had asked the mayors to be there, and they had people from UNF and Hudson and Renner and Daytona State, so that will be moving forward and getting underway, and that's going to be great for our whole community, I really feel.
Good.
I spoke with Lisa today, Lisa Newsome, about doing something for Larry. She was supposed to be going out of town because they were going to do the one up in Milton, but of course with the hurricane, that'll be canceled again. So she said, Larry, you know, him and hurricanes, he just likes to go. So they're going to wait till after hurricane season to do that, okay? Because that's twice now it's been canceled. So we threw around some dates, and October 28th, which is a Wednesday at 5:30, if that works for everyone. She will make it a point to be in town, and we can do something out on the pier, invite the other cities or employees, whoever wants to come, and just something very simple, say a few words, maybe throw rose or flowers or whatever.
Yeah,
So.
it's good for me.
Okay.
So October 28th,
And I sent an email to Liz and Penny, so I will have them send
you'll
it
send something out, Penny?
to the,
Where are we having this?
on the pier.
On the pier, okay.
Okay, so I don't have to put it in my calendar.
Weather permitting, let's all hope.
I'm sorry?
Weather permitting, let's all hope.
Oh, yeah, right,
No
always.
hurricanes, no, but that's I feel a good spot, plus we'll be able to socially distance out there and everything else, so.
Good.
That's all I have.
Thanks for setting that up. Ken?
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm daydreaming.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you, Madam Chair. This week I met with Parker Mitchenberg from the Gardens Development, who's been designing and putting together that entire drainage area through the gardens. He also developed the area down on Palm Drive and a lot of other projects throughout the county here. So I just wanted to look at the maps that he had, what he's doing, what he's putting together, and also show him some of the areas that we had some concerns about on Palm Drive. He was also very good as far as providing some historical data as to who's responsible for what in those particular areas. The maps and all that he showed us, I think, and I also had Rick there with me as well as Fred Griffin, our engineer. So we will, I'm sure everyone will be able to have an opportunity to look at these maps again and get a better idea. They actually put the maps together specifically for us when we want to look at them, so that we can see where the low points are, the high points, which areas are going to require drainage and this kind of thing here. So it's very, very helpful. I also asked him some information about the berms behind the Palm Drive area, and it had been told to me by a few people that the Army Corps had actually built those. Parker Mitchenberg is actually the one that actually built those berms himself. Apparently he and his father and several other entities, McNabb, and a lot of these names that you probably recognize from the past, from the early 80s and into the 90s, were individuals that developed that entire area. So I wanted to look at that so that I could see the significance of it as it applies to what they're doing now and what type of impact that it might have on us. So they were very, very open as far as providing that and giving me some historical information and data that they can later share with the rest of us. Also met with a gentleman that.
Question.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Is that the engineer that spoke
Yes.
at the county meeting?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the same
Yeah,
engineer.
it
well-
seemed to be very.
Did you feel comfortable with what he presented to you?
I felt comfortable with it. I think, from an engineering perspective, I obviously don't know a lot about engineering, but I had Fred and Rick there, so, I let them do all the talking because I just wanted to gather information. And they were very beneficial. It was very helpful as far as providing us with maps that we can, on a layman's terms, that we can look at later and get a better idea of what the low points are, which areas will actually require fill dirt. They were able to show us the areas that they're going to have retention ponds in and where they're actually going to flow into other retention ponds. So I thought it was very beneficial, and it helped me as far as being able to have some perspective on what these ponds are, where they are, how they're draining into the wetlands area. So all of that's identified as well. So, I'm going to have to wait to see how they present that at the next meeting, and also see what additional impact it might have on Flagler Beach in general. And that's why we presented them with that. And that's also why I had our staff there, in order to ask specific questions, and so they could get educated on the whole process as well. Also toured, I had no idea where this kayak launch was that we wanted to talk about. So I got my feet wet the other day when I went down.
Literally?
Literally. I've never seen so much mud and water, but it's a beautiful area. And, and that's, of course, we'll be talking about this later on, but, I think it's something that we could probably, do later. I know there's some opposition in the community about it, but, the scenario that I gave a couple of the residents, I says, well, if this goes back to the state of whomever, and they put it on the market, it could conceivably be developed, and they says, no, it's too wet. I says, I'm just telling you. You know, it's not all wet. What do you want? You know, be careful about what you ask for. So anyway, I thought the kayak launch and, you know, maybe some modifications, I don't know. I'd hate to see it go back. I hate to see the money go to waste. So I just had to go down there and put my eyes on it and put my feet in there. I do not like alligators. I do not like snakes. And I did not like walking back in that area. But it was an experience that I know where it is now and I know what we're doing. Thanks, everybody, for signing my birthday card. I'm 52 today. No, it's just a number, and I really appreciate everyone signing it. I did attend their Flagler Beach Creates meeting yesterday. The mayor was unable to make it. We did a lot of discussions about what we're doing with the parking lots, and I told him I would give him an update later with a copy of what Fred and Rick had provided us with last week as far as the costs for the parking lots, so that we can have an idea of when they might be able to come online, when we might be able to do something with them, because they want to move forward. The group wants to move forward as far as doing something on the parking lots. We also talked about signage, and I also addressed the fact that the police chief had been looking into the signage in order to make it adequate for us to have visitors to know where to park. They talked about the trash cans that we'd also hit on the project. Before the COVID got really involved with this, there was a process where we're going to have different groups, the kids in particular, painting the trash cans with different themes that we had selected for the area of Flagler Beach. So we're going to try to get that back online again in American, probably give you a better idea as we move along in our next meeting. But everything's been kind of on hold. We were meeting in the park there for a while, and then it got too hot. And then everyone says, "Oh, let's go inside." And then we say, "You know what? We're too close in here. So let's go back out again." So they hadn't met again. So anyway, we're getting back on that. A couple other things. I'd like to thank everyone for masking up and staying masked up. As we all know, this is no joke, and that's all I can say about that is that, you know, let's keep Flagler what it is and safe and healthy, because we got the best numbers in the state right now. So that's a good thing. And I think that's about all I have for right now. There's another item, but I'm going to wait till the next meeting to bring that one up.
Okay. Right.
Yeah, I got a short list. Just a couple of things I think that maybe ought to be revisited. One being our golf cart ordinance. There's still some people that don't have very good access to get their golf carts out and about, especially those on A1A. If they have to come out in front of their house or their garage is, then how do they get to a street to be able to use the public streets as everyone else is? So there aren't a whole lot of them, but it's still an issue, I think. They're just,
What are you saying? So they live on A1A, their garage is on A1A, they need to get to the back street.
right, so they have to take the sidewalk down to the next numbered street, which they're not allowed to do.
How many people are we talking about?
I don't know, maybe a half dozen.
I know that down the south end, they were given permission to use the sidewalk.
the golf course,
Yeah. All right, maybe, Penny?
Now, I have written FDOT before about using the sidewalk. That's their sidewalk.
Right.
It's their right-of-way, and they denied that for a 78 piece of sidewalk to allow Beverly Beach residents to come in to cut down on North 23rd and then use our city streets, and they denied that request.
Okay.
I mean, I could write them again about this, but I just don't know what your turnout will be.
All right.
Well, Matt, I think Matt and Rick, you've developed a new relationship with Ron Mead. I don't know if this falls within his purview.
And that sidewalk's smaller now, too, down there as
Yeah,
well.
I'm sorry. It's not that they would
might be
be
worth a try for a few.
traveling for vast distances, just
Right,
a
the only
maximum of a
concern
half a
I
block.
have is, let's say there's 6 people that live on A1A that need to get it. Then other people see golf carts on A1A, and now we have golf carts on A1A, even though we're not supposed to have golf carts. And on the sidewalk, which is narrow and which Because there are people that don't live here that bring their golf carts here, and they just, oh, well, I saw so-and-so do it, And we've had businesses in the past, too, where people are like, oh, I was just pulling out from the business and going down the side road, and they've got a ticket, or the police have said something to them. So I think it's a slippery slope. I'm not, I understand people have to get their cart out on to the road, but at the same time, it can be a slippery
There's no
slope.
alley access, or?
Yeah.
Well, some of those, there are certain blocks along A1A that don't have an alley, no. So, okay. Another thing, too, is I know all these golf carts are supposed to be electric golf carts. And we have an awful lot of gasoline golf carts out there running around. With stickers on them.
And if they're golf cars, then they wouldn't be, there are gas-powered golf cart-like vehicles that are actually regulated like vehicles, but these aren't those. You're shaking your head at me, Penny.
Well, people are walking in with filling out a piece of paper with a model number and a VIN number, or not even a VIN half the time, and presenting it to a 22-year-old girl, and they're taking a payment and giving them a sticker. So, I mean, you don't have an inspection process for it. If that's what you're looking for, I mean, you're gonna have to discuss that probably with the police department, and I don't know what his manpower is to do that. Maybe you could schedule it for one day a week, inspections or something, but people wouldn't get their sticker right then like they're used to getting. So we spoil them here. I know they don't think they do, but
Right.
we really do when it comes to service.
I don't know, it just takes the whole point, it just negates the whole point of having that requirement.
Well, they're all presented with the ordinance that says what it's supposed to have.
So if Drew, I guess this question's to you, if they are running around with a gasoline cart, is that a code enforcement issue?
Potentially code
Or a police
enforcement issue, potentially it's a reason to revoke the permit, because if they lied on the application and said that it met all the criteria for issuance of permit, and in fact, it clearly does not, that would be a reason to revoke the permit, which probably we would take to the code enforcement magistrate for a determination on.
So I guess I'm shifting to Rick now. Is that something that Bobby could keep his eye out for?
Yes.
Do you monitor that today? Do you look to see when people are driving by in a golf cart, if it's gas or if it's electric or it has a sticker?
As long as they have a sticker, we don't monitor.
Go any further than that?
No.
Okay.
They redo
I don't-
those every year?
Yes.
Yes.
I don't know, I just think we ought to put a little teeth in that gasoline versus electric stuff somehow. Or if it's by having eyes and ears out there. But a lot of people love driving up and down my street, South Flagler with the canopy trees and all that. It's a popular destination or driving. And it's an awful lot of gasoline.
Yeah, and Rick, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I had a resident tell me one time they were going to purchase one down in Daytona, I think at the flea market. And the gentleman there said, oh, yeah, Flagler Beach allows gas golf carts. And I said, no, we don't. So, it's up to everybody to do their due diligence. But when you have people out there selling them, saying that they're allowed and they're not allowed.
Maybe when they come to renew their license annually, there could be some kind of a notice to remind them that they can't, if Bobby's got.
Or a quick inspection, maybe they should have a yearly inspection, make sure their lights still work, they still have mirrors on it. And, have somebody go out and take a peek at it, or set up an appointment to get their renewal. I mean,
The only question I have is, I'm sorry, and that's to the police chief, is what type of manpower are we talking about doing this? Because if we have, how many do we have? 300, 200?
I think there's like 500.
Holy crap, really?
Yeah.
So if you have each individual with an expiration date different, then that's probably a daily, it could almost be a daily type task.
I think
They're all-
they
they're
may
all
be
done at the end of the year.
prorated.
Oh, they're all at the end of the year.
Which makes it
Yes.
worse.
Wow.
But there are people that come in for new ones, you know. They're constantly coming in because it's a notarized statement and they're calling one of us. If one of the girls are busy with another customer, they're calling me or Janelle to come notarize.
So enforcement could be an
I
issue.
mean, they're supposed to have a lot of insurance too, and I don't think that's being checked either, just to be honest with you.
Matt, what kind of, I mean, I guess before we start looking at this too much, we need, I mean, I certainly think that we should enforce what we have, but I don't want to put such a burden on you guys that it's unmanageable either.
Well, that's why I asked,
Yeah, I
asked Drew, if that, it
Right.
really becomes a code enforcement as
Right,
opposed to a law.
It's a law enforcement. Okay.
That's really all. I
Passed
had.
that ordinance years ago. Remember that, Jane? We thought maybe we'd have 10, 20
Yeah.
tops.
Never thought we'd have 500, that's for sure.
I mean, when I first moved here, I was going to buy one, and I was at a golf cart place, and he said, oh, yeah, you can take it across the bridge.
Oh, yeah.
And I went straight over to the police chief, and I said, can I do it? He says, no.
I can't even drive down my street.
So I didn't buy one.
I can't drive down my street.
know.
Oh,
Because of the county.
Because of the county portion.
Because of county.
I would agree with Rick. I'm seeing an increase in gas carts. It's very noticeable. You hear 'em. And they're not the quietest things in the world, but I am seeing it. I don't know what the right answer is. I don't think it's productive to do a full inspection. When I registered mine, I was asked for proof of insurance, which was good. Maybe just asking at the time of the tag pickup, is this cart electric, like a confirmation
That's what I
question.
meant. when I-
Yeah, and then that way you're not adding a labor burden. And, you're addressing that one thing.
Is it on our insurance? Does it say electric?
What do you mean on the insurance?
Well, you said you had to show proof of insurance. Does it say on the insurance?
It does not. My insurance card only has the serial number
Okay.
and the make and all. But it wouldn't hurt to have a verification question on that.
Yeah.
Whether, probably not worth getting into tires, lights, windshield, seatbelts, all that. That's all addressed in the ordinance. But if we're looking to make sure that electric carts stay electric carts for the purpose of the sound and the environmental aspect, it probably wouldn't be a bad thing. Just, you get a new tag, is this going on an electric cart or some version of that question?
So we can just modify the application,
Okay.
and, when we're notarizing, we can, whoever's notarizing can ask, you certify, you realize you're signing to certify that all this is
Real simple.
true and correct, so.
Here's a legal question for Drew. What if, I always do what ifs, we certify that individual, they've done all these things here. We sign off on it, give them a tag or whatever, and they go out here and their turn signal's not working and they get involved with an accident. Do we have any liability?
No, we don't have any liability in that
Okay, I just want to
circumstance.
make sure. I mean, because if we're certifying that they're okay and then they go out.
We're registering the vehicle,
Okay.
but that's not certifying anything about the vehicle. It's kind of like, the best example, the clearest example I can use is building permits. The courts have been clear for a very long time that, yes, we go out and inspect buildings. We go out and inspect buildings protecting the public safety. If a governmental inspector misses something in that inspection and the building falls down, government's not liable. The government is not an insurer. The government is protecting the overall health and safety, not your individual.
Okay, good.
That's it.
That's it, Eric?
Oh, anything? Oh, well, one thing. Linda, thank you once again for another good beach cleanup. It was back-to-backs. Cleaning the beach.
We got a few weeks off before the next one.
Yep. Yep. Linda's been keeping me busy. I get those reminder texts. You're going to be there, right?
And you can't say no.
That's it. That's all I got.
Okay. Debbie?
The only thing I have is I brought up at the last commission meeting that I felt that the corner of Second and Daytona was an accident waiting to happen. Well, Matt informed me that an accident waiting to happen does not warrant stop signs. So Chief was gracious enough to come out. We're going to be trimming some bushes for better visibility, which they haven't been trimmed yet, Matt, FYI. And then also across the street from the Pink Turtle on the northeast side, we talked about putting a bicycle rack and doing golf cart parking as opposed to car parking. Because when you're coming out of where Vessel is and you're turning to the left, and there's cars there, you just cannot see. And I actually contacted Matt last Friday. There was an accident within like inches. Very colorful language, people got out of the car, they were screaming at each other, because the woman just pulled right out in front of somebody coming north. So Matt and I are working on that.
Good. I hate that corner. And I do it every day. I hate it.
Just FYI for everyone.
Good. That was it.
That's it.
And I don't really have anything except, Linda, what did we decide about Veterans Day? We didn't. We should.
Well, I know we're not doing any special events anytime soon correct? Penny? You haven't been giving out special event permits. So I don't know how the others feel.
I don't know, it's outside, we can kind of spread out, I don't know,
Yeah, I'd like to do
it's a
something.
big day.
Yeah.
What if we did something similar to what Matt's doing with Halloween? A drive-by. I mean, we could have veterans drive by and, we
Drive
pay
by
homage to them.
where?
I mean, past the Veterans Park. I mean, we could honor them or recognize them as they come through or something.
Or even schedule a path through your neighborhoods where people are encouraged to come out into their own front yards, so you don't have congregations along a certain strip.
Yeah.
It's more of like a broader parade route that goes through the neighborhoods, kind of like, I don't know if you do it here, but like Santa does at Christmas time. In my city, Santa comes through all the neighborhoods on the fire.
Oh, really?
And that way, you're not encouraging people to congregate, you're allowing them to participate from their own front yard.
The teachers did that.
For the new kid. Yeah.
Drove through it, well, no, after COVID,
Yeah.
they came driving through town,
Yeah.
kind of did a parade through.
I'm wondering, I guess the county and Palm Coast are doing something?
I don't know what they're doing.
I'm just wondering if anybody else is doing it.
I could contact Julie and see what the county is doing. I don't know who's in charge of it in Palm Coast.
I mean, I just know that most of the people that come are elderly. I don't know if they'll feel like coming, even if it's outside.
Careful.
And then we do.
No, like really elderly.
And then, we're all sharing the same microphone to speak. And
Yeah.
I mean, I have no problem doing it, whatever you guys want to do.
I
but-
kind of like Drew's idea.
That sounds good.
If we could put a notice out, hey, vets, be out in your front yard at whatever time, and we'll drive by and
So what we
recognize
use,
you.
fire truck, police chief's car.
Yeah. Yeah, because so many of our first responders are vets.
Right,
It'd be neat to recognize them in some manner.
Let's do something.
Oh, absolutely.
Matt, do you have any feeling about that? Yeah? Drive by? Yeah. Yeah, I've really been going back and forth, and I just couldn't come up with.
Matt,
So how
Matt,
would-
do you want me to get together with you and we come up with something?
What you got in that
I'd
Bob?
be happy to do it. I mean, I'm a veteran. I'd like to see something done.
And I'm a veteran as well, and
Right.
especially with the park being Veterans Park, I think we owe the veterans of this country a way to thank them for their service, so I'll be more than happy to sit down with you.
Okay, sounds good.
And if we maybe do Central Avenue, which, runs a long length, and have people come out and stand in their front yards or sidewalk, we'll figure
Okay,
it out.
I'll get together with Matt and we'll come up with a plan and
Well,
present.
it's always
you wanna
been my
join?
job. I don't like my jobs being stolen.
You know what? You got it.
You don't mind working with me?
No problem.
No, I know you're excited.
No, I just, I didn't, said, let's do something, so I threw my hat in the ring, but I'm.
No, I
glad-
just didn't
Pull it
want to
back
not
out.
do anything, and so I just needed some
Sure.
ideas. And
Sounds good.
thank you, Drew, that was a good one.
Good answer.
Okay, that's all I had. So can we get back to number 12?
Yes, ma'am. The one that's being auctioned, or
Excess.
is an ATV. The one
Okay.
that is behind the police department, that sanitation is working on, is a UTV. The UTV is a side-by-side, ATV is front and back. The one is a 14 that we're getting rid of. The one that is being sent over to sanitation, I believe is an 09.
Okay.
Okay.
But Rob's going to make use of that one, though, right?
Absolutely, yes,
Okay,
he
good.
is.
Good, I just wanted to make sure we weren't throwing his,
No,
But he was
that's not the one that he's going to
planning to
utilize.
use. In that case, I'll make a motion. Make a motion that we approve Resolution 2020-32.
Is there a second?
Second.
You did read this already. Make sure we,
Opened it up.
yeah. Okay,
guess.
so
Did you open it up to public before?
Does anybody in the public want to address this?
Just to make sure.
Just to make sure. I don't remember whether we did or not. Didn't, okay. Anybody in the public? Seeing none, we close public comment. We have a motion.
Commissioner Cooley?
Yes, the motion.
Commissioner Phillips? Yes. Commissioner Bryan?
Yes.
Commissioner Bellheuer?
Yes.
Chair Mealy?
Yes. And thank you for taking care of that for us. Make sure we know what we're voting on. Okay, Drew.
Just to let you know that the letters have gone to the county, right, Penny? Yeah, I saw them. And I've also, Larry has no problem being there on the 19th, and he's working on his part of the presentation now. We're going to try to keep it short and simple, focused on the points like we talked about at our last meeting, and not getting into the weeds of what the actual application is, but focusing more on process. Larry was definitely more comfortable with that because he also doesn't want to step on county's toes, just like we talked about. You know, we want them to do their job, and we're not going to tell them they're doing their job wrong. We're speaking to the more general issues. And again, those intergovernmental coordination issues and how this process that we're in short-circuits some of what we would have been doing in the other process like we were earlier, where he gets to review a lot more. So I think that's where his presentation is going to focus on and trying to, I think he, as we spoke this morning, I think, and he's going to do this morning he said he was going to do a PowerPoint presentation, but he didn't know if he'd go through it, and I encouraged him to do a short PowerPoint presentation, maybe just a few slides. Because none of us want to use a lot of time, because as you all know, you have really a very short window of attention. If you run more than about 5 minutes, you've lost your audience. So we're trying to get as much information as we can, as pointedly as we can. So that's kind of the focus of that. So just giving you that update. That's all I have.
And again, that letter was phenomenal.
Thank you.
Comment. If there could be a request, you know, your letter's 8 pages long, the part in italics makes it very easy to pull things out, but if Larry's going to do or you, either one, if y'all could coordinate it, can there just be
A final slide that we can leave up when we're done talking that has all of those recommended.
Right.
Absolutely.
Very
Yep. Larry and I can
simple,
work together
yeah.
and make that happen.
I just don't want those 4 items to get lost in the translation, and keep it very exact.
At the very least, it makes it possible for a county commissioner, just as you might do. Would somebody mind putting that slide back up there so I can see? Yep, we can do that.
That's it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Rick?
Just a couple items tonight, that might last. We're taking a hard look at having lifeguards 10 to 3, Monday through Friday. We've had 3 fire department water rescues, 2 police water rescues, a number of our lifeguards water rescues. That we are asking, or we've been asked to have a lifeguard 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. in the lifeguard tower. with a RTV, ATV, so that if anyone is in distress, they'll be able to respond. I just wanted to bring that up to the commission's attention, so they're not wondering why there's someone out there.
I got it.
And is there, I'm sorry, is there until some time,
Until the end of the month.
at the end of the month?
At the end of the month, well, what we're doing is we have lifeguards out there on the weekends. We don't have anyone out there
Right.
during the week.
And my other question is there, I know the drowning, the actual drowning was outside the coverage area. Is there a way of signage or something?
Well, they-
Signage
they
is there.
post flags.
Yeah, yeah.
But with the COVID and the nice weather, people are just coming out of the woodwork. I just want to make sure.
Don't all our walkovers have a,
They do.
yeah, they all say something about unguarded beach, I'm sure.
Right, but
Well, and
people don't seem to
unguarded
understand
beaches-
about riptides.
Yeah.
We're looking at a lifeguard for the guarded areas.
Right.
And I'm sure we have enough flags to post in those unguarded areas.
Okay.
Also, with
I
police.
don't know if Eric wanted to.
Well, I had a question on topic of that. I guess one of the questions is, Drew, is there any potential liabilities with only having, we'll call it, say, skeleton crew? Because you got one person up in the coop, but you're not running your full lifeguard staff, and you don't have coverage. So you are saying you have lifeguards, but you kind of do and don't. And I know that gets into a gray area.
Is there potential, when it comes to any water bodies where swimming is allowed, guarded versus not guarded, and ironically, by having guarded beaches, you are increasing your liability. It's just the reality of it. It's a service we provide, but having the guarded beaches increases potential for liability, because in having the guarded beaches, it increases the potential for negligence. And that's really the question. It's not, is there a bright line, if you do this, you're safe, if you don't do that, you're not. It's not that easy. It is there negligence? And so if there were a claim brought on the topic of there not being enough lifeguards, and yes, a plaintiff's attorney could absolutely file that lawsuit in good faith, they would have to prove that the city was negligent somehow in only having one lifeguard. And to use the example, you've got one up in the coop. Well, if you have one up in the coop, and does that mean that there's not somebody who can quickly get out and get to somebody? So from a public safety standpoint, having guards out there, whatever we can have is better, but yeah, the potential for liability is there, and we need to be considering, are we providing a safe beach? Because once we say this is a guarded beach, we are telling the public this is a safer place to use the beach.
Yeah, and you also end up putting lifeguard on duty, that posting goes out. I'm worried that at a minimum, you gotta have two in the coop in case one has to come down to go potentially do, a rescue or something, then you're back to unguarded, because now you have an occupied lifeguard. I guess it's something that is gonna need to be worked through with Tom. I know that Tom has voiced concerns about scaling back lifeguards. This goes all the way back to budgeting, not even this year, but previous years, and he has said that if you scale back lifeguards, but you post lifeguards on duty, you get into those thresholds. And I don't know if one Monday through Friday is the answer. I think if we're going to do it, we have to do it in a smart way. I worry we might. We're putting somebody out there, which is good, but I don't know if that's enough to cover us. I guess would be the best way to word that.
Well, I have talked to Tom about it, and it initially started out that he wanted 2 guards, but he can't come up with the manpower to cover it. So if we're saying that we feel that we're in a better position with none, then we'll put the flags out and we won't have any guards out there.
Yeah, and I'm not the guy to give that answer. I mean, I think that's a Drew and
Ultimately,
staff's
it's probably a Tom question at the end of the day, because it comes down to, because I know the law, I don't know what makes a safe lifeguard program, that's gonna be Tom. And if Tom says this is safe, I think we count on him, and if Tom says this is unsafe, I think you rely on him, because he's the guy who knows.
But, unfortunately, the drowning was on South.
Yeah, it was outside.
That was way outside of, no one in the coop could see that.
Yeah, that's why I was looking for flags or some kind of signage that,
But I believe the other water rescues were within our normal zones. And what we're looking at is one guard to be up in the tower with an ATV at his access.
well, why don't we leave it up to Tom?
Great.
Yeah, up to Tom, city manager.
Whatever Tom decides.
Okay, all right, I'll sit down with Tom tomorrow.
Everybody's good with that? He's the expert.
And just so the commission knows, we have been averaging 32 new single-family homes a year.
Amazing. Thank you, Rick.
No retirement for you.
At replacing on the bridge, and also at the tennis court, as the lights go out, we're trying to go to LED lights. So for a period of time, both at the tennis court and on the bridge, in a period of time, I'm talking about over a few years, because LED lights are twice as expensive as what we currently have, but the life expectancy is 10 times as long. So I have talked to the county, I talked to FDOT about the lights on the bridge, and he said, well, we're going to get a few people complaining that the lights are not the same. It's going to take a while. That's pretty much it.
You don't have anything more to worry about than the lights are not the same.
Color coordinated lights.
Thank you, Rick. Penny? Sure. Motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Second.
Eric, are you going to share that swag bag with
Second, right,
everybody else?
Well, do you want this?
No. I didn't know.
I was gonna give this to Sydney and
Oh,
Susan.
okay.
Because it's got chalk in it and stuff.
Right, well, I have some.
No, Matt?
Yeah, I was gonna give this to Susie and Sydney.
Okay, yeah, it's got chalk, some Kleenex.
Yeah.
It's got that.
Oh, this has got them written all over.
Okay.
This is perfect. Yeah. And not only that,